Hey guys, Accountability Angel here. We are back outside of the Ottawa Police Department and we are here to conduct a First Amendment audit to file a police report on that woman hitter or whatever you want to call him from the courthouse, and also to get a complaint form for that one jerk. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully better than last time.
Angel Farmer, I haven't seen you forever. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Did they tell you I was coming?
No.
Oh, well, okay. So I need a complaint form, and then I also need to speak with an officer to file a report on a court officer from Etna Road, but they told me to come here.
Okay. So this happened on Etna Road? At the courthouse?
Actually, no, it was not Etna Road, the other courthouse down here. Yeah. And they told me to come here and do it instead of Sheriff's Department.
Do you know what the person's name is?
The one that assaulted me with Bonds was his last name. The other guy wouldn't identify.
Okay. And then you want a department complaint form?
Yeah, for one of your officers.
I don't have those available to me here, but I can give you the number.
Okay.
And you would speak with one of the captains.
Do they normally not have them, or they just happen to not have them?
Right. Well, because there's a whole process to it, and it doesn't involve us in here. And normally that window is open until 4 or 3 or 4, depending. And nobody's here now. So.
I gotcha. At least you're more friendly. Last time they yelled at me for having my camera by the window.
Well, I know you. I know you from when you worked at the gas station.
Yeah, back in the day, right when I was coming up, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. That's when I worked in Peru.
I know it. We miss you over there.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think they might have needed you more out here.
Okay. Here's there is a card with the information on who to call.
Cool.
And on the back of it, I have both of their names.
Awesome.
What's your phone number? I'll get this started and I'll have somebody come out and meet with you.
Okay.
Do you have a vehicle here?
Somewhere in the general area, not on the property.
Okay.
Or even close, because the other guy followed me out and got my license plate last time.
Okay. We have been having people wait in their vehicles just because of the upsurge in the COVID, but I'll have somebody.
They can kick rocks with that.
Yeah, I'll have somebody come out and meet with you in just a second. Okay?
All right, thank you. You know, they have good work on that, but it'd be nice to see an American flag in here at least somewhere. I hope it's not that one jerk from last time. You see how much friendlier they were this time? I mean, then again, that guy knew me from... I used to work somewhere in Peru. What's in here? I don't even think I noticed this window last time. wait outside my foot. Wonder what they do when people don't have vehicles. They're so concerned with COVID. If you look at this, it does wipe off if you try really, really hard. Well, we're gonna see, because I was researching it before about the whole complaint form thing, and it said that you didn't have to. That you could file one honestly, but there had to be enough, I don't know, couldn't be like open-ended or something like that. Not sure what word I'm looking for. And the FOIAs, I definitely thought you could do that. But we'll find out. I don't want to argue with the lieutenant too much about it, because I was just going off of what the lady said. Hopefully it wasn't that lady that also tried to tell me I didn't turn in any complaints that one time. That was crazy. You mind your own business. I don't care if you work here or not. I really love, though, I got distracted because all that happened right when the courthouse was closing, but I wanted to go back and show where they put the trespassing signs up, because wonderful old me was poking around. It only took 2 or 3 visits, but they put them up. I guess it's hard to try to do it anonymously when the dispatcher recognizes you when you walk in. I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know he worked here, though. I like how the only pamphlet there's not a bunch left of is the DUI one. See, it hits you about 2 feet from the door. Oh, yeah. Yeah, these remind me of those windows that Peru PD had in the garage before they covered theirs too. But they're so worried last time, Officer Sumber or whatever, and that chick. Why is it still like this? I don't know. Yep.
I was able to find that form for you.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Here's the form so I can complain in that one dick. For all the COVID precautions they're taking, supposedly. If you notice, this is covered with like hair and dirt or whatever. So, we'll get rid of the citizens, but we'll keep the dirt. That's how this goes. Oh, hell yeah, look at this. The whole thing is covered in dust. Bet you nobody's touched them since the start of COVID, I bet you. Wish there was a way to mark it. I'd be afraid to put my pills in there.
Hey,
Hi.
Angel. I'm Officer Donovan. How can I help you?
I wanted to file a report on one of the court officers from the downtown courthouse, and
Okay.
they told me to come do it with you.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. Can I do it anonymously or no for that?
To what? I guess fill me in a little bit on what's going on and what you'd like to do.
What happened with this guy was they let me in the main doors, at the courthouse, and then I go upstairs to go to room 201, and one Officer Bonds and some other guy.
Angel, if I could interrupt you, you mind stepping over here that way? If anyone needs to come in, we're not staying. They're going to be walking through our conversation.
Sure.
I'll stand over this way.
But anyway, Officer Bonds and some other guy who wouldn't identify himself refused to let me in because I was filming, which is my First Amendment right, which obviously the guy at the door knew. But this guy got so upset, Officer Bonds, that he eventually comes up, gets in my face real close, and I have it all recorded, and then pushes my phone so hard that it causes me, when I'm like trying to catch it from falling, it shuts off my camera, so I kick it right back on real quick. But right before, right after, or whenever around that same time is when this guy comes up right in my face where our bodies are like touching, trying to
And we're
intimidate
still
me.
talking about this
The
Bonds
same,
person?
yeah,
Okay.
Bonds. The other guy, he just recorded me, but he wouldn't identify. But Bonds decided to put his hands on me like that, which I count that as. He was right up in my face doing it because I was recording just like this.
Okay.
And then they wouldn't call us superior at all, so I had no choice but to shut my camera off and then call up to the lieutenant, because, I go around recording often now.
Okay.
And I talked to him, and he told me he'd get it handled. And then a few minutes later, I go back out, and Bonds gets a call from whoever at the sheriff's department telling him to let me in because it's my right to be in there and film.
Okay.
But he chose to assault me in between, violating like 3 of my rights.
Okay. So he said he'd get it handled, or he told you to get it handled?
Who-
The lieutenant.
The lieutenant told me that he was going to talk
Okay, I'm sorry.
to somebody
I
else and
misheard
then
that.
have them call him.
Okay.
Because I was worried. It took me forever on the phone with them, and they turned like a 3-minute paperwork thing into almost an hour of them bickering at me. He was talking about my children. I have it all on film.
Okay.
He was talking about my children and all these different things. But I was really upset when he got up in my face and pushed that on me like that.
Okay. So back to your original question about reporting this anonymously. To be the victim of
Yeah.
in this case, what sounds like you want to report as a battery. No,
Yeah,
because you
with
can't
that,
somewhat-
yeah.
you can't
What
somewhat
I
be
meant
the
was,
victim or be-
I meant to say the complaint itself for your
So like
officer. I'm kind of having 2 separate things, but this is just for an officer I was complaining on.
At our agency?
Yeah.
Okay, so what that'll happen is you'll fill that form out and our administration
Mm-hmm.
handles complaints against officers.
Do you know if I can do it anonymously or if I have to?
I believe you need to name yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the administration would be the better one to direct that question to.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're not working again until Monday morning. But I know if you contact one of them, they'd be able to answer that question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the other form? Is that something to do with the case you're reporting to me now?
This has the YouTube link on it for the video where it shows what this guy
That was
did.
going to be one of my questions.
And then that's just my personal info because I didn't want to have it recorded when I announced it.
Understandable.
So in case you had to have that, but he knew my name right when I walked in.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you a couple follow-up questions to help me understand. What time did you get to the courthouse today?
It was right around 2 o'clock. This happened on December 4th.
Oh, okay.
So this wasn't today. I went to a different courthouse today. But
Can I ask you why you're reporting it today and why didn't you come report it when it happened?
quite frankly, I was held up. I had to go back to my kids. I even told them that in the video. I said, bro, I got to go get my kids. I got to leave. It was supposed to be a 5-minute paperwork thing, which in the video you'll see how fast they get me out. But it turned into that. So then I was just in a rush to get back to Peru eventually when I finally got out of there.
Okay.
And then I finally was able to make my way back here today.
Okay. So just personal issues resulted in that.
Yeah.
I got you. What time was that on the 4th?
Around 2 o'clock, right after 2.
How long were you in the building before the incident occurred?
Almost in me. I had gotten in just fine with the door guy, the man checking me. I get up the stairs, and then immediately, within like 10 seconds, a female bailiff says, "Are you recording or whatever?" I was like, "Yeah," and she kind of said a few things, but within like a minute of that. So within like 2 minutes, both these guys come up to me, but they stood there the whole time, was blocking the door, wouldn't let me go, and there was a child sitting on the chair watching. This kid, you could see in the video, he's literally covering his ears after a while.
Okay.
Because it was just a hot mess.
Was there shouting? Is what caused him to cover his ears, or profanity? What was?
Well, there was profanity. I think he was just scared of. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't even notice he was doing that until afterwards. But I told him, I said, "Will you move so I can not get this kid in my shot?" Because I mean, I can, but I prefer not to have a kid in there.
I understand that.
And he's like, "Well, you're choosing to do all this and all." I don't know. I have the whole video to show, but that guy got right up in my, because that's what he said. His mask started falling down as he's getting in my face.
I'm not familiar with who you're talking about. Can you spell the last name so
I think it's Bonds.
Okay, that's how
He wouldn't even tell me. The other guy wouldn't identify at all, but it was just ridiculous. But this guy, I think the first time he came up on me was when he like came up with his whole body all up on me. And I raised my camera up like this just to try to show with my camera.
Okay.
Yeah, show like what he was doing. I didn't get the best, but he was in front of like 5 other cameras that were at the courthouse.
Yeah. So the area you were in was recorded outside of your personal recordings?
Yeah, there's a camera like right off to the side there, I know, and there's probably more. I don't know. I was so worked up about it. But what I was really upset with was when he came up, gets right up in my face telling me to back up when I had already backed up anyway. But he was the one getting in my way of what I was trying to do.
What was causing him to tell you to back up? Were you too close to him?
I was recording him right in his face.
So too close to him, not too close to a room or anything like that?
I was trying to go into the room and he wouldn't move.
Okay.
That's what it was. But, I wasn't going to push him over to do it, but I was just standing there recording him.
Is this the room 201 you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to get copies of papers I needed.
Okay. So just, I want to backtrack and go over just to make sure I completely understand. You go to the downtown courthouse on the 4th, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You go in, no issues at the door. You go up to the 2nd floor, and you're recording as you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when this Mr. Bonds blocks your entrance into room 201.
Yeah, for quite some time.
So you said he got up on you, and you tried to lift your camera up to get the proximity. Did he make contact with you there, or was he just close to you?
Honestly, I was so in the moment. I don't know if he actually touched me or not, but his body was right up on the front of my body. I mean, he came up purposely to do this, but my bigger issue is when he sat there, comes up right into my camera, pushes my camera so hard that I could barely keep control so much where my film shut off. And then you can hear me in the film freaking out right after, saying, "Oh my God, blah, blah, blah."
How did he push your phone? Was
he took his finger. You can see his hand coming up and his face, like real close, coming up, and it, knocked it down. He did it really aggressive. By the time I called the lieutenant, I was starting to try not to freaking cry because I was so, upset and pissed off and nervous about it. I just couldn't believe how quickly he wanted to try to go hands-on with me when I wasn't doing anything illegal to begin with.
So, again, so I understand. You had your phone up, he got close to you and pushed your phone with his finger. Did he push your body or your phone?
No, he shoved my phone, which is right in front of my face, just like how I'm holding it. And he pushed it so hard, I was fighting to not lose control of the phone.
At the end there,
yeah.
It makes sense to me.
And somehow I must have hit it when he was pushing it and shut it off.
Okay.
You
didn't drop it or anything like that? You were able to maintain a grip on it? Okay. So then that happens, and then you end the recording and call the lieutenant?
No, I immediately kick it back on within a hot second, right?
Okay.
And then I'm freaking out because I didn't want to shut my film off to call the lieutenant because they told me, or to call anybody, they told me that if I had an issue, they wouldn't get a superior, that I had to call the sheriff's department. And I was like, well, I don't feel comfortable shutting my camera off, especially now that all this craziness is going on. And eventually, I had no choice but to go in the bathroom for 15 minutes, so I felt like protecting the ladies' room. And then I got a hold of the dispatcher, and then she got the lieutenant, and then he told me to take care of it.
When you say lieutenant, you're referencing lieutenant with the sheriff's office?
Lieutenant Wolford.
Okay.
Because he's kind of been around for some of my filming things before.
Okay.
But I was really upset. But then they called him, and I even have that on video where they call this guy, Bonds, and then he's like, "Oh, okay," and then just lets me right in, and then continues to try to give me directives.
Okay. So,
as I'm going in there.
How much time's passed between when you reactivated your camera versus when you went to the bathroom to call the lieutenant?
Oh, I don't know, a few minutes. You'll be able to see it on there.
What
'cause
happened
I'm
in that time?
bickering back and forth, the same nonsense where I'm like, I can't believe you fucking put hands on me. You're probably a wife beater. But, I went off. And then he kept bringing up my kids. 2 different times he brought my kids into it.
Okay.
For I don't know what reason, because I didn't mention my children. I mentioned I was there for my child support paperwork from years ago.
Okay.
But then he said, because I told him, I said, do you violate your vows like you violate your oath? And he got pretty pissed about that. And then that's when he started bringing my kids into it and all this. I was like, well, it's a real question.
And that was that your intention on going to the courthouse today, was to get, or that day, to get paperwork for?
Yeah, I needed a copy of the uniform order from like 5 years ago.
Okay. Okay. All right, so then you talk to Lieutenant Wolford. He then contacts Mr. Bonds. How much longer are you at the courthouse after that conversation between them takes place, and then he continues to give you directives throughout the building?
See, what he did was, he steps out of the side after he hangs up on the phone, and I was like, oh no, he's letting me in. I was like, and then I was like, don't fucking touch me, stay away from me, because I was pissed. And then he starts giving me directives saying, don't film. I don't even know what he said in the background. You'd have to listen to it. But he's like, don't film something or another. And then I said, don't fucking tell me what to film. Because then I was pissed. And, eventually he just went away. I have no idea where he went to. But I was only in there for like 2 or 3 minutes getting the paperwork that I originally came for. And then I left.
So after that, it was a fairly uneventful process of getting your paperwork and then leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was supposed to be to begin with. But I couldn't believe that guy would go that far. And he stepped up. That's the thing. I wasn't the one getting in his face and he pushed my thing. He stepped up to me and then pushed my camera, which was right on me.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do from this point on is I'm going to speak to the other people involved. I'm going to type up a report on this. And then what I will do is I will forward this report off to the state attorney's office for them to review it and make the determination whether or not charges will be brought against anyone.
Right.
You understand that?
Now, will they, Now, will they, you'll be able to get the other guy that refused to identify, you'll be able to get him to identify to you and ask him what happened to?
No.
Because he was right there for the whole thing.
I will,
he didn't
I'll try
stop
and
his
track
buddy.
down Mr. Bonds. I'll talk to Lieutenant Wolford. I'll try and find out who all was present around this. Obviously we gather witnesses and take statements and things like that. So that will be one of the things I do try to do. Unfortunately, it is 4:30 on a Friday.
I know.
So going to the courthouse is going to be a little difficult at this time. So it might take me a couple days to get this report completely typed up and forwarded off to the state attorney's office. But once that's done, they will probably be in contact with you, either by mail or the victim advocate very, very possibly might reach out to you. I'm not saying that will or will not.
Oh, they won't. They never do.
But you should receive some type of correspondence through them. You're also welcome to give me a call here at the Ottawa Police Department. Stop down, and I'll answer whatever questions I can for you. In terms of the prosecutorial side of things, pretty sure that's the right word. Prosecutorial sounds right.
Sounds right to me.
So they will. I can't speak for them. So I tell you what my job is going to be is speak to everyone involved, do the report, and forward it up. After that, it's kind of they're going to be the ones to be able to answer any questions.
Perfect.
Make sense?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Now, what was your name again?
Matt Nadanovich.
Nadanovich?
You want me to write that down for you?
Yeah, if you could. For spelling.
Yeah, it's common spelling.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that is. Common spelling for that name.
If it starts with an N and ends with an itch, they'll know exactly who you're talking about when you call down.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Appreciate you being kind and courteous. No, I think you've got it.
Alrighty.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Excuse me. So guys, he was super nice and very informative. I don't know, I felt totally anxious finally laying it all out there. But we got things done. I kind of came at a terrible time because right before I was leaving the courthouse, it was like 7 minutes before or something, and they told me that I had to figure that other shit out for my complaints and whatnot, but quite frankly I just didn't have time. I only had a few minutes, so I went to go back for that. But at least he seemed really nice. Matt good something Nadanovich. I don't know how to say that. But well, we'll see. At least this time at Ottawa went way better. Dispatcher was way nicer, but He didn't know me too, but he's super nice to begin with. But we'll see. We will see. Don't put hands on me and get away with it. Not today, brother. Alright guys, well, we'll be on to the next one.